Jön a második elődöntő. A világ ranglista, éllovas és a világranglista 6. helyezettje között, azaz Sanchez, Ruiz és Francesco Sanchez, ugye az így teljes. Francisco Sanchez, Ruiz és Mario He között, tehát egy spanyol és egy osztrák.
Thank you. Take your seats, please. The first rack. Francesco Sanchez Ruiz.
Kezdhet tehát. Tiebreak-kel indulunk, azaz nem megy golyó kezdésből, úgyhogy így a spanyol nem tudja folytatni, ott a fehér bele okoskodott a 7-esbe. Az a gond, hogy az 1-es az oké, csak a 2-es semmi a helyzet, itt lent a falnál. Mario He néz fejjent verte 11-9-re, míg Sanchez Ruiz HUN Lit nagyon simán 11-4-re. Ez volt az a simább elődöntő, vagy negyeddöntő. Körbejárás, egy kis pozícionálás, aztán mehet a 7-es. He
beats Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 1-0. So Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, #1 in the world since he won the US Open back in October. An absolute dream year. Let's hear some thoughts from the Spaniard.
Last year was so special for me, but this is a new year, new goals, and now I am in the semi-final, so I try my best. I play against Mario. He's gonna be tough because Mario is unbelievable player. But I believe in my game. I try to do everything, even if I play bad, I try to give my best. I have so much respect of Mario. I think that we have like a similar technique, you know, but also he's a good friend of mine. It's gonna be tough because always I play with him is we go to like hill or very close match every time. So I don't know what happened, but I try my best. If I won this title, I think that's the biggest title in the world, to win the 9-ball, World 9-ball. In the first tournament of the year, it's gonna be amazing for me.
Have you ever met a sunnier, friendlier man than Francisco Sanchez Ruiz?
Well, he has every right to be because he's sitting on top of the world of pool. But yeah, he's a very likeable character. Mario's breaking a little inside the box. A lot of the players are putting the cue ball as far as they can to the corner of the box, so Mario's a ball or two inside, and he's made the one.
Here's another question. What age is Mario he?
30.
Just 30?
Yeah, 30.
Yeah.
No?
Well, yeah, he's 29 actually. He'll be 30 later this year. And the reason I asked that is because it just seems like he's been around forever. It's hard to believe he's still in his 20s. He got to the final of a Euro Tour event at the age of 15. Played Niels Fyen.
Yeah, you just kind of get the impression a little bit like what Francisco's done. You know, I know it's early on in this match, but if Mario can go on and win this title, is he then going to kick on for the rest of the year and win more majors?
I think winning the World Cup was a huge thing for FSR last year with Spain. They'd only once been past the quarterfinals prior to that. And one thing that has perhaps been a little bit lost in all the success he had last year was that he had that amazing run, having lost his opening match and then almost gone out in the next round on the loser's side. He got to the final of the UK Open in London last May. And I think that was a big confidence boost for him as well. And I think for a long time we felt that was all he was lacking, was a little bit of belief in himself. And the run he had in early summer last year, well, that, I think, really took care of that. But even that didn't come out of nowhere. He'd finished 2021 and started 22 on a very positive note in some smaller scale events.
It's good effort there from Fran, but you would feel he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. It's all about the speed of the cue ball, this one. Well, he's not that good. Not good at all. He's way short. This is where the shot clock comes into its own, because there's only one shot you can really play, and when you don't have a shot clock, you probably would walk round 2 or 3 times extra. So that's the reason why we have the shot clock in. Nicely done.
It would have been interesting to see what one of FSR's opponents earlier in the week would have done if he'd made it to the shot clock stage. Oscar Dominguez, when they played, was taking so long over his shots and really getting inside his own head. He would really have struggled with the shot clock.
Extension called.
Players, of course, do get an extension per rack. Mario's just used his, that's why he's got a little bit more time. An extra 30 seconds, I believe. This is a nice shot he's trying. He's trying to go off the top rail and then hit the right-hand side rail, but he's got to get the cue ball to bend a little bit. Oh, he's done well here. think he'll be happy with that.
We've established that Mario He won't reach his 30s until this summer. Sanchez Ruiz, a bit older, he turned 31 just after Christmas.
He's going to leave the gap here in between the purple and the red 3. That's why he's left this 2-ball open. Mario won't be taking the pot on, it's way too thin. I wonder if he's going to try and just bank it down past the 6, use the 9 and the 6 to try and hook. Yeah, that's what he's tried. Needs this 9 to keep going though, it needs to find the back rail. And he's left the gap. The safety aspect of certain shots on a pool table, the brutal. It's not like snooker where you can chip off and go up past the baulk colours. You know, you could see there it was actually a really good effort, but he's left that little window. Sometimes you can be stood there and think, well, I just don't know what shot to play.
Yeah, and there's only so much distance you can leave between cue ball and object ball on a pool table in comparison to a snooker table.
This is another example, probably trying to spin the cue ball over like before. In a similar situation again. It's back and forth at the minute. Good thing with 9-ball is you don't really get long racks, do you? Because as you can see here, the balls are quite open. As soon as somebody lays a really good hook snooker, you feel like a chance will come. This is a bit of an easier chance, so he can chip off the right side of this ball, get the cue ball back down where it is. Needs to miss the 3.
Well, our friend and colleague Jeremy Jones played a rack when he was called into the Mosconi Cup team at the last minute, just over a year ago, against David O'Cady, that went on for, I think it was 18 minutes, and it felt like about 2 hours because we're just not used to seeing that. Hard to imagine how a rack, realistically, could go on much longer than that.
Well, this has gone wrong, so it's going to be a chance.
Well, you called it, Carl. You said once someone got a hook snooker, that could be the decisive moment. By doing so, Mario He has forced the chance, which has got him in. Probably not quite where he wanted to be on the 3, but should be fine.
This shot will actually be really thin from Mario's view. It's so difficult to show the exact angles the players are faced with. He's bumped the 5. Yeah, he's got to be happy with that. Whenever you bump into a ball unintentionally, you never know where the cue ball may finish. Could have landed on the rail and then left awkward cueing, but this is okay.
By the end of today, these could be the top 2 players in the world rankings. Sanchez Ruiz, guaranteed to stay at number 1. Whatever happens, could have a massive lead by tonight. But if it's Mario He who goes on to win the title, he'll climb to number 2 in the world rankings. Went into the tournament at number 6. He's already guaranteed to move into the top 4, and even by getting to the final, he'll have a minimum ranking of 3rd when the championship ends. Mohamed Soufi, incidentally, will climb to number 6 in the world rankings if he wins the final tonight. So this rack was characterised and defined by a tactical battle. He won it. And as a result has won the rack for a 2-0 lead. Let's hear from the popular Austrian.
It feels amazing, just being in the semi-final, especially after 4 close matches. Could have gone all the other way every match, but in the end I was like the lucky guy to go into the next round. I have to expect from myself to play my best game to beat him. He's a very close friend to mine, but you know, at the table I have to forget that and just fight and try to win. This is my biggest goal in my pool career. I'm 2 matches away, but I just think about that match right now and it would mean the world to me.
Lost his opening match, of course, against Sebastian Barkowski, 9-7, so went to the loser's side and got through that, beat Simona Corral and Tobias Bongers. But as he alluded to there, it's been quite a ride through single elimination. 11-9 against Ekland Kachi, 11-9 against Ko Ping Chung. Then the hill finish yesterday afternoon against Canada's John Morra, who had knocked out Jason Shaw the night before. And then didn't get off to a great start against the 2014 champion Niels Fine in the quarter-final last night, but turned it around and finished really strongly for an 11-9 win. That's why he's in the semi.
Yeah, also, the man in the final, Mohamed Soufi, also lost the opening match of the event. Well, he's missed the 1 ball on the break, but another ball has gone down. That's the good thing with this new break format. You have to hit them good. If you don't, and you miss the 1 ball in the side, often the balls just, a large percentage of the time, they just seem to come out a little bit weird, a bit awkward.
Extension, please.
It's a loose one there from Mario. Should have done better with that one. There you can see the big window. Sanchez, he won't really want to be taking this in the side. Cue ball's not going to go near the next lowest ball, which is the red 3 up on the top left. He has got a good chance laying a good hook, to be fair. He can get the 1 up towards the top and the cue ball back in behind these balls all in a cluster. Could even maybe try and stop the cue ball in behind the 7. Play the 1-2 rails. Looks like he's aiming to play the 1 in between the centre pocket and the 3 ball off that rail. No, he's jacked up, so is it behind the 7? Well, he did go for that gap. The only problem with that is the 1 has come back out into open play, so Mario will be tempted with a short stick.
Doesn't have any great history in this championship, Mario He, but in the last 16 a couple of times. Both times he was beaten by the eventual champion. 2014, he actually beat Alex Pagulayan along the way, lost to Niels Fine, who went on to win the title, and then 2 years later, Ralph Souquet was among the players he beat on his way to another last 16, and that time lost narrowly 11-9 to Alban Ocean, who likewise went on to become champion.
Another good chance here for Mario. It's a good kick. It wasn't far away, was he, from potting the ball? Some days they go in, some days they don't. Not much you can really do about it.
Mario, he, I think, is associated with the World Cup more than any other tournament. He's had so much success with Alban Ocean for Austria, 2 wins and another appearance in the final, and indeed a semi-final prior to all of that. So how much of a help is that going to be to him today? Because obviously in the World Cup every match is played on the main table because there only is the main table.
Yeah, it's massive. He will be familiar with the surroundings, you know, the fact that all eyes are on this match, and you know, you sat in your chair, so that's the experience you need. Look at where the cue ball's finished there. You literally couldn't put that better with your hand. It's got a nice angle, it's an easy pot. The early signs are good.
Well, that's just about the best shot we've seen so far in the early stages of this semi-final. Huge match for him, probably the biggest match he's ever played in his career, and an individual event at least. But looks very comfortable with the surroundings, partly I suppose because of the reasons we were outlining to do with the World Cup. So Mario He went into this match certainly a second favourite in everyone's book, really. Long, long way to go, but he's making all the early running. He's now stretched his lead to 3-0. Let's have a look at some of the facts and figures from the early stages of this match.
Well, there's a lot of zeros down the left. Not so sure about the break and run percentage. I think that's wrong on Mario's side, Michael. We've seen Sanchez get out of his chair.
Yeah, it's been pretty dominant, and he has looked good in all departments.
Yeah, 0 balls potted for the Spaniard. He's just been kicking and playing safe so far, but he has found himself in this position, hasn't he? He was 3 down to Chang. We know things can change. Mario will also know this, so you've got to stay focused, and they both look very focused indeed.
Well, by going 3-0 up on the world #1 last night, I think Chang
take your seats, please. The fourth rack.
stirred the beast, as it were, because Sanchez Ruiz then played some of the best pool he's ever played. It was magnificent for the next 9 racks, all of which he won, and really there was no way back from there. 3-0 again.
It was a good break. 2 balls gone safe though. Plays a large part in the very next shot off the break, does the 2, because the 1 gets potted quite a lot. I wonder if he can just roll up behind the 5 just to play a simple hook. Maybe he can't. A little bit fortunate, to be fair, because he could have left a combo. The two could have sneaked out a little bit further and left a pot. This is awkward for Ruiz.
Extension, please.
I always think on a big day like this, a lot of people might be watching the game for the first time. We need to explain a few basic things. So long as you hit the lowest numbered ball left on the table, any pot is legal and it keeps you at the table. Carl referred there to a combination, so FSR, had it been on, could have played the 2 onto the 3, potted that and stayed at the table. But the winner of the rack is the player who pots the 9 ball, regardless of who's potted the previous balls. When you explain that to people, sometimes they think, well, that sounds crazy. You could pot 8 balls and the other guy pots 1. But then when you see it in action, particularly with players of this quality, you understand how and why that works.
Mario's gone airborne. If it is the point, yes, that is delightful outcome. 3 ball is tied up, so it's not all doom and gloom just yet for Fran. At least he's got some insurance up on the top left of the table.
And that's another thing that people unfamiliar with the game might be surprised by, seeing the jump shot being played. It's very common in this game. Again, anyone watching in Britain who might be used to snooker, you're not allowed to do that, to jump over an intervening ball, but it's perfectly legal. Players actually have specific cues for jump shots, and occasionally they use them to produce pots like that.
Haven't seen many jump shots made this week.
Yeah, we said that a couple of days in, and I think the percentage did go up a bit after that, but overall, yeah, through the week, for whatever reason, or maybe for no reason at all, been a lower percentage than usual.
Fran might not have the hook, but there's no obvious safety shot here. He can't seem to go forward with the 3 because that'll hit the purple 5. Maybe tempted to try and cut this ball in.
As he sits down there, at least Sanchez Ruiz has now potted a ball in this match.
Oh, that's nice. That is very nice. And that bump is okay as well. He had to go for the pot there. There was just simply no safety shot available. Here's another look. Watch how thin the cue ball snips this.
Some people believe in destiny and fate. A lot of people don't. When you've had a run like Mario he has had in this championship, probably helpful if you do. Have all those close finishes and survive them. You might start to believe that you're fated to win it. And whether it's true or not, if you can convince yourself of it, it can only help. At what point, Carl, does this lead become so big that he becomes favourite?
I think once you start getting to 5, alarm bells may start to ring for Ruiz. Obviously, it's now a race to 11, so that is massive. You always feel like you get an extra 1 or 2 opportunities, but you feel like the game would need to help you a lot. Mario's going to have to let Sanchez back in to a degree as well. I know it's winner breaks, but you've got to keep getting shots, and Mario's not really had shots off the break, has he? So it's not like Sanchez has played no shots. It's just not quite happened just yet. But he's in tune with his game, the cue ball, everything's just coming on the right side of the next ball.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz had to come from 3-0 down in his quarter-final. He's further behind here. Mario He leads by 4 racks to 0. Never had a champion from Spain. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz came in as one of the favourites this year. But things have not gone his way in the early stages of this semi-final. He's 4-0 down against Mario He.
He's breaking very good, isn't he? Very good. Yeah, he's on the 2. He's on the wrong side of it, so he's got to try and force this cue ball around the table somewhere. It's all about just leaving yourself a pot. And you can see from the overhead, that's the angle he's faced with.
It's no surprise whatsoever to see He at this stage, particularly when you look at his record in the big field multi-table matchroom events last year. Wasn't a great World Championship for him in Milton Keynes, went out to Alex Kazakis in the last 32. But then quarter-finals of the UK Open, semis of the European Open in Germany, really should have beaten Alban Ocean. Had already beaten Joshua Filler in the previous round. And last 16 of the US Open, where he was only narrowly beaten by Si Chia Chen.
Yeah, that's why you see the number 5 next to Mario's name. He's the 5th highest ranked player on the 9-ball rankings. Of course, Sanchez is number 1, but he's number 2 in this event because SVB was number 1.
Well, that's the first bad sign.
Yeah, that was a good chance. He won't be happy with that. But even though he has missed, because the cue ball's landed on the rail, this is going to be brutal for Sanchez to get a shot on the 4. He's not going to get close to the 4. Even if he goes rail first, you feel like the 6 may play a part in that. Oh, that's a good shot. That is a very good shot.
Talked about the success he enjoyed in 2022. That, of course, meant it was a very lucrative year for him. Won well over $250,000. Leading money winner in pool around the world in the course of the year. He'd never won more than $36,000 in a year prior to that. Just as Mario He sent that message in the opening rack after the dry break that he was here and ready to pounce on any mistakes or openings that were handed to him. Similar noises being made here by the world number 1 off the back of that bad miss on the 3 by his opponent. And so, the man from Spain is on the board. It's 4-1 in this World semi-final. Now let's have a look at some details about the man who's just won that 5th rack. Number 1 in the world, as we've been saying. And when you see those two things together down the bottom, it really just underlines what a great year it was for him. That World Cup win with his great mate David O'Cady for Spain, emulating what Spain's footballers had done in South Africa 12 years earlier, winning the World Cup. And then US Open champion, beating Max Lechner in the final in Atlantic City back in October.
Francesco Sanchez Ruiz to break.
Defending his title a touch earlier.
...2016-ban játszottak a China Open-en először egymás ellen, 11 hétre Ruiz nyerte, aztán volt egy újabb 11 hetes, ez a 21-es US Open, és a Predator az egy 8-as verseny volt, az is meg 10 hét. Tehát egymás elleni eredményeket nézve azért Sanchez Ruiz jobban áll.
Mario, your choice.
Ugratni kell. És most ez következik. Szép. Ebből hamar 5-1 lehet. Szépen megkerüli a 9-est, és aztán ezt nagyon szépen csinálta Mario He. És egyelőre a világ első gondban, mert ez így 5-1. Akárhogy is nézzük. És azért ez egy szép előny, azt nem mondom, hogy tetemes, de szép előny. Persze ne felejtsük, hogy az előző elődöntőnél is ugye Sufi vezetett már 6-0-ra is, és azért onnan utána megkapta a lehetőséget az ellenfele, és egészen szépen vissza is kapaszkodott. Az igaz, hogy beérni teljes egészében nem tudta. A Panda becenévre hallgató 29 esztedes Mario He, tehát most azt kell mondjam, hogy közelebb a világbajnoki döntőhöz, mint a ranglista vezető.
The 7th rack.
Jön a 7.
Mario
rack.
here is leading the match by 5 racks to 1, and he will break.
Most az jó. Hopp. Pont ő adta a 2-esnek a lendületet. Itt az a, gondolom, a gondolkodás tárgya, ugye, hogy ő már az 5-öst is nézi, és azt, hogy lehet megoldani. Elvileg a 3 és a 4-es nem feltétlenül kell, hogy gondot okozzon. No, meg aztán ott a zöld is, amire majd le kell jönni ide erre a falra.
Extension, please.
Kéri a plusz idejét. Nem gondolom, hogy ezt szerette volna. Reménykedhetett talán, hogy egy picit üti a lilát is, és megmozdítja. Igen. A fekete. Az útban volt, de alapvetően ott az előzőnél nem úgy történtek a dolgok, ahogy azt eltervezte Mario Hi. Most Sanchez Ruiz következik. Szép. Tökéletes. És ott van a második rek. A spanyolnak szépít Sanchez Ruiz.
And he would almost certainly qualify automatically. Even if he somehow didn't, as world champion, surely he'd get a pick. So it's a huge day in that respect as well. He can put what happened in 2018 firmly in the past.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, when you look at the two players now on our screens, you've got the man on the left who's just basically trying to win another big major. You know, it's a bit different for him. Of course, he doesn't want to lose this match, so he's got pressure.
Trailing by 5 flex.
But he's riding the pool wave at the minute, isn't he? He's the main man. As where Mario, yeah, he's won the World Cup of Pool, but he still wants that big individual major. And as you said earlier, Michael, he's been in the mix, hasn't he, in 2022? I know he didn't win one of them, but he's been going deep.
Yeah, very consistently. And you're right. FSR has been riding the wave, really, for about a year or more now, and he knows as well as anyone how long it took him to get to that level. He was a very good player for a number of years, but it's just moved up to a whole different grade. So that also means he's aware that you never know how long that's going to last, so you've got to make the most of it while you're playing like that. Oh, this is incredible. Wow. Doing a bit of the high hurdles, goes over the two. Somehow the cue ball gets back on the table. Two drops in, and he's on the three in the sides.
Well, that is the greatest fluke I've ever seen. That is absolutely ludicrous, what I've just witnessed there.
Do you think we need a replay?
Extension, please.
It's just bounced off the rubber and could have gone anywhere, but somehow comes back onto the table.
What are the chances of that? Look at this. I mean, that is unbelievable.
Okay,
the fact that it's gone in and the cue ball's come round and landed on the three is absolutely insane. I mean, if that changes the complexion of this match and Sanchez gets back in it, I've literally seen it all.
We're going out there when the match is over with 1,000 balls, and I'm going to ask you to do it once in that 1,000. I don't reckon you will. Oh, look what's happened.
Wow.
Oh. And you wonder, was he just distracted by the moment and all the noise?
Well, he went over to Mario, didn't he? And they had a bit of a laugh and a giggle. I mean,
Why would you do that, though? Break your own concentration?
Yeah, it's gone from, like, sort of embarrassment of, you know, an absolute crazy fluke to missing a golden chance. Mario's got to forget about what's going on and really punish this mistake now.
Gone from the most unlikely part of his career to one of the most unlikely misses in consecutive shots.
Wants the cue ball to keep rolling. A little bit more would have been ideal. That would have made the pot absolutely guaranteed. That's why Mario's called for the extension, because he's got to float this ball in now, because it's quite a thin one. There you see, that's a lot thinner than we realised. So this is a big moment coming up in the match. He will be guaranteed a shot on the 6. Yeah, good shot.
As much as Sanchez Ruiz was maybe distracted by all the hoopla over the remarkable shot on the 2, and so Mario he had to guard against that, and indeed the distraction of seeing his celebrated opponent miss a ball as easy as he did.
Well, when Sanchez missed, I just had it in, because I was like in amazement of the fluke. I was thinking he was going to be playing it into the top corner, so I weren't really paying attention where the next ball was, because as we've seen all week, the corners are swallowing the balls up, so when you're playing it into a middle, you can miss them.
We always say getting the flukes and the bouts of outrageous good fortune is one thing, but they don't mean anything if you don't turn it into something more. And that dreadful miss by Sanchez Ruiz has proved very expensive there. So instead of closing to 2 behind, Sanchez Ruiz, for the 3rd time, trails by 4.
For Ruiz to get back in this match, and it was
the match by 6 racks to 2, and he will break.
It was the jump shot that could have turned it all around. Thankfully for Mario, the madness that he's just witnessed with the short stick, well, that's the past. It's 6-2. He is breaking. One ball again. 9 balls going close to the corner. I think he's got to play the bank shot on the 2.
Not seen a break and run from either player yet.
This bank shot is on, and it looks like he can swing the cue ball around 2 rails to get position for the 3. The green 6 is tied up, in fairness, as well, so there is work to be done in rack number 9. He's got to keep the heat on Sanchez, though. Mario knows that just a couple of mistakes and it's just a few break and runs and you bang under pressure. Yeah, there you see. What's this off the rail? Well, he did get off the rail. Has he got an angle? And he's also bumped the 6 touching the rail. That's awkward. When it's off the rail, you can pot it up in the corner, no problem. Now it's touching the rail. Just makes life a little more difficult. But you can see he's got a little bit of angle. He can pull it back out into the centre. It's all about the green 6 now. He's got to get from the 5 onto this 6.
If he gets to about 8 or 9 and he's still in the lead, then of course there's all the added pressure and the new challenges of trying to get to the World Championship final for the first time. But that will be so much easier if he can get to 8 or 9, and Sanchez Ruiz is still a long way behind.
Okay, he has an angle. Is he going to try and slide past it to shoot it up in the rail? Is he going to try and go into it? Risky. Can't really play the 6-9. Almost feel like he needs to land straight on the 6 as well to get on the 7. He's up against it here, Mario. This looks short to me. Yeah, it's way short. Way short. If the 6 is off the rail, I'm not saying he can roll up to it. It is off the rail. If that was touching the rail, another ball must strike a rail, so the cue ball or the 6 hit another rail on the table.
Extension, please.
I wonder if he can play off the right hand side edge with loads of right spin, just catch the rail and get it up behind the 8 and the 7. Maybe not. This was an exhibition. You'd play off the left hand side of it with loads of top. Just keep arcing the cue ball down that rail into the 9, just for a bit of fun. Maybe Sufi would play that shot. Not bad. The tighter 6 would have been better.
It says time foul there, but he had struck the ball plenty of time, so all is well.
Sorry, Michael, I say it's not bad. He can pot this ball. He may pot it and just go into the 8 and 7. It's so difficult to hold the cue ball position-wise, so you might have to take a gamble here and just go into the balls. Make sure you pot the 6, though. Sometimes we're guilty of forgetting about the pot because you're worrying about the cannon.
Might see just to the left there of Sanchez Ruiz, Abdullah Al Yusuf. He was in the semi-finals last year. He's been sitting there all through this session, watched the first match, watched his friend Sufi get to the final.
It wobbled in, but he is still full of confidence, he really is. But because to just roll that ball like that, I mean, that takes a lot of bottle. Oh, wow. World number one, he's not quite firing on all cylinders just yet. He's playing a few good shots and then a few ropey ones. He got safe, he's got a little bit lucky. He's got to come with something here. Big shot coming up, Michael.
Just doesn't quite look the comfortable, carefree player we've seen for so much of the last 12 months or so. But a lot of that, I guess, is down to the circumstances and the fact that he unexpectedly finds himself some way behind. Perhaps a little bit because he went into the semis as such a clear favourite to win the title.
Oh, lovely shot. Lovely bank shot. Unfortunate, it has to be said. He had to draw the cue ball. I don't know if he was trying to draw it into the 8.
Spinning. Thanks.
Well spotted there from Marcel. The cue ball was still spinning, even though it had stopped in its place. So I think the shot clock referee had restarted the clock, but the cue ball is still moving.
Yeah, you're not meant to start the clock again until all balls have come to rest. Marcel never misses a thing. Wonderful referee at both snooker and pool.
Decision time here for Mario. What do you play here, buddy? Oh, I think he's sending the cue ball into the 9, a carom. He's had a go, he's missed it by a mile. That is not a good shot. Not a good shot, not a good effort.
Not a good shot. And potentially a really expensive one.
If you're going to play the shot he's played, you can't be playing it that hard. Because if you miss the 9, look how far the cue ball has come up the table. Play it a little slower. If you miss it, you're leaving more distance. He's overcooked this.
Oh,
he's overcooked it. Wow. Sanchez, he's not quite at the races. It wasn't easy. Them little cutbacks can be missed. Is this Mario He's day?
Well, we've been talking about players giving each other gifts and how important it is to capitalise on them. This rack has been like a game of pass the parcel.
Worrying signs, this.
And a worrying scoreline for Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. He's now trailing by 7 racks to 2. And surely now, Carl, we have to say Mario He is favourite to win this match.
Yeah, he is. I mean, it's just the demeanour and the shots that Sanchez has had.
Mohamed Sufi, incredibly, awaits in the final. Just to clarify, that says 6-3 there. Sanchez Ruiz knows it should have been. Now it's been cleared up to 7-2. We're going to be in Leicester in a few weeks' time for the Premier League, and that, of course, was the home of the greatest sporting upset of all time when Leicester City won the Premier League 7 years ago, defying odds of 5,000 to 1. Mohamed Sufi, if he wins this title. Are we talking that kind of category? Things like Leicester and, of course, Ben Curtis, who won the Open Golf Championship, having never been in the top 10 of any PGA Tour event, never having even played in a major. That could be the story later today. But while Sufi awaits, these two battle it out for the right to meet him. And at the moment, the man in your picture is by far the more likely. 7-2.
Yeah, he's potted the 1 again. Has he got a shot on the 2? Is the pink 4 ball in its way? Sufi for the Premier League. That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it, Michael? We'll be there commentating, of course, and the way he plays, fast and furious. I'd actually look forward to that.
You mean you don't look forward to 8 days in Leicester with me anyway, Carl?
Sadly not, Michael.
What if we bring Jeremy this time as well? How about that?
Sounds like it's getting worse.
Well, we can definitely say Sophie would be there if he was world champion.
Push out called. Your choice, Francesco.
Going back to the push out, there you see that was the next shot after the break. He couldn't see the 2-ball, he was hooked, so he's decided to roll the cue ball on the top rail. The game of chess now begins. Can Sanchez spot something, what he fancies playing? If he doesn't, Mario will be playing the shot. Decision time. If he hits the bottom side of the 2, he's got a lot of balls to get another hook back here. Here we go. Yep, exactly how he played it. Great shot. Sanchez could be in trouble here because it looks like he can only go up table and back down, and the 3-ball is going to be hard to not play a part in this kick shot.
Extension called.
That was a good shot, really good shot. Had to make something happen there. He had to contact the left side of the 2 to give himself a little bit more time in this rack.
No, you've used it.
Oh, now he's calling for the extension. He's been told he's used it.
Can we check whether he's
Marcel has ordered the clock to be stopped.
On the screen they used it, but it...
To confirm that's correct, it does say on our screen here, 1 extension used. And I think that is correct, isn't it? He has used the extension already. And
so you got that time left, but when I say...
He's used up another few seconds there, of course, precious seconds, questioning it.
You've used it. Restart the shot clock.
Well, you know what? Even if he doesn't agree with that, and he'd be incorrect to disagree with it, it's best to just accept it and not waste mental energy on a row. And in the circumstances, he did pretty well.
Yeah, of course, the referee was right to obviously keep the clock as it was, but surely Marcel's just got to look up at the TV screen, and like we can see, it says you've used your extension, so he should just say you've used it, because it almost gave Mario a little bit more time, didn't it?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's difficult though for a referee, because of course people do make mistakes from time to time, and Marcel, for all that he's a wonderful ref, is only human, and if he looks up and the player is adamant he hasn't used it, maybe that just puts a little bit of doubt in his mind. He doesn't want to get it wrong in a world semi-final.
Yeah, but then are we ever going to get to the situation where the player just keeps saying, I didn't use it,
Yeah,
didn't use
I hear
it.
what you're saying, absolutely. Anyway, the upshot of it all is that the shot he eventually played forced the chance, but that hasn't gone particularly well.
Cue ball just rolling on the rail has made it nasty. If you can pot it and roll the cue ball into the 8, that may be the shot. This is close. It is more than close. It's in the pocket. He may not have a pot here, but he's got a wonderful safety shot. He can just bank the 4 up and down and use the 6 and the 9 as blockers. That's an option. That's what he's trying. Looks hard though, this. It's a mistake. Should do better from there. Good safety that from Ruiz. He's got to make something happen. He's got to come soon, hasn't he? He's 5 behind. Just the 4 racks needed for he. When he lost the semi-finals to Albin Ocean.
European Open, yeah.
Yeah, the European Open. He will have learnt a lot from that, even though he lost and he kind of blew it. It will just help him. He will realise that maybe just slow down a little bit, try and think a little clearer. You know, losing's not a bad thing. Well, it is, but you know what I mean? You learn
it's not the worst thing. So long as you can take something away from it.
Yeah, they say you have to lose to learn. It's going airborne. The short stick is coming. Got to watch the scratch. Oh, he needs this to hold up. Is he going to leave the gap? There is a gap. He's got to be happy with that. That's gone wrong. Chance for Ruiz now. 6 to the 7 is the key shot in this rack. The green 6 to the brown 7.
Well, David O'Cady and Jose Alberto Delgado both out of the championship, but enjoying finals day, watching their mate. O'Cady and Sanchez Ruiz have been a little group, have hung around together for years. They're such great friends, and Delgado, who got to the semi-finals of the UK Open last year, sorry, the European Open, seems to have really joined that gang, which will do him no end of good.
Nicely done. Both players have exchanged shots in this rack. Sanchez is not going to get loads of chances to form a comeback, is he? He's going to run out of racks. You feel like he's got to come in the next couple.
He's got to put a few together, hasn't he, from the break, just as he did against Chang Yung Lin. Okay, so the gap is back to 4. It's 7-3 now for Mario He. We were talking earlier, Carl, about the unique challenge when you've never been in a final of this nature, of just getting across the line. So how do you feel Mario He will deal with that on the basis of what you've seen from him over the years? Because you can never really tell until the player's in that situation.
No, I think the fact that he's in the situation where he's got a nice lead, if he gets the chances, I think he will close the match out. But if it starts to get around 8-7-ish, 8 or 9, he's been winning them matches this week, but he's got to do it now out there. And he's led this match all the way through. It's a weird feeling when you feel like it's going to be your day, don't you? He's sat there thinking everything's going my way, I've got a nice lead. And you know how fast these racks can go. In no time, it could be 7-all.
Yeah, well, Sanchez Ruiz was playing at quite a pace during that run of 9 in a row in the quarter-final last night. Doesn't quite need to produce a run of that nature here, but he's got to start finding some consistency. That's Sufi, isn't it? Yeah, ahead of the final later today, representing Syria.
Sanchez Ruiz to break.
And Abdullah Al Yusuf has been very much in his corner over the last few days. Acted as his interpreter yesterday for one of his interviews. Great to see Sufi looking so relaxed ahead of the world final that he really can't have expected to be in. Well, 7-3.
I can't believe he's sat there watching. I can't believe he's sat in the crowd watching. He's probably the only player in the world that would be sat there watching the other semi-final.
Tell you what I found even harder to believe this morning. Nothing wrong with it, of course, but Chang Yong Lin, after losing that quarter-final, comes back to the venue this morning and sits in for the semi-final that he had missed out on being in. Just being a good sport. Now, what's he got here?
Well, you can see he does have a shot. There always seems to be a ball, though, when you're trying to form a comeback. The Brown's 7. Keep an eye on that ball where it is.
Extension, please.
It's part of that great year as a result, indeed, of that wonderful 2022. Sanchez Ruiz finally got into the Mosconi Cup team for the first time. Tasted success with Europe in Las Vegas as they won for the 3rd year in a row.
Well, what result he's had here. The 7 ball was going to play a pivotal role in this rack, but now where he's bumped the 9, he can chase the 9 with the 5 ball.
Could be the first run out from the break in the match.
Here we go, 5-9 combo to pull another rack back.
Two in a row. First time he's done that in the whole match. Sanchez Ruiz closes to 7-4 behind. So here is the 5-9 combination again, and this is what we were talking about, isn't it? Yes, he's still in a good position, but now it's 7-4, and that's got a totally different feel to 7-2. Sanchez Ruiz gets a little closer. Big questions being asked of Mario He in a situation he's never experienced in his life. Some numbers for you.
He's potted double the balls pretty much of Sanchez. Missed pots 2 from Sanchez. He's missed a couple of balls there. Early on he missed the 8, didn't he? There was a chance to keep close to He.
Yeah, not only was that first.
Viszont Sanchez Ruiz kezdhet, tehát zárkózhat. Oh,
Stroke. Ball in hand. And please start the clock. Extension, please.
még lehet a 8. rek. Rövidesen. Bizony, bizony. 8-4. Mario Hi tehát őrzi az előnyét, amit kezdésből kialakított magának. Pici szünet után pedig jövünk vissza majd a folytatással. Kezdésből ment az 1-es. Nem megy úgy el a fehér szerintem, hogy az betakarja ott a 4-es.
Extension, please.
Sì.
Sanchez for Sanchez, Ruiz.
Egy újabb lépés, zárkózás szemszögéből, Sanchez Ruiztól.
I just feel like he's still in this match. He's lurking, isn't he? It's not a runaway. It feels like it's all been Mario He, but he's just hanging on in there. Can something happen just to put a bit of a twist on this match and throw some huge pressure over to Mario He?
Yeah, and look, we can't ignore the fact that he has been this close to a big matchroom, multi-table, full field event final before, only a few months ago, and was beaten in a close finish to the semi-final by Albin Ocean, and he wouldn't be human if that wasn't in his head somewhere.
Thank you, D14 for rack. Francesco Sanchez Ruiz to break. Trailing 8-5.
Oh, now, can he get through to the two?
I would say he can. Obviously that's just purely looking at this camera angle that we're all looking at, but I would hazard in the favour he can get through. If he can't get to the pot, he'll just flick the rail first. There you see. Oh, he didn't get on the three though.
Yeah, just needed to come across a touch further. Catch it on the other side.
Extension, please.
You can play thin off this. Two rails up towards that five. Try and use the 9 ball as a blocker. Wants us to slow down, doesn't want to leave Mario a rail first, and I think he has. Similar shot to Sanchez on the two. Yeah, not as easy as Sanchez is, but he can certainly go rail first. Very difficult to play safe and try and get him behind one ball. People at home, if you've never played this game, you don't realise how fast these tables are. And the biggest shock is when you've never played it, is you can't believe how big the balls are on the table. They're massive. Oh, he swerved it round and potted it. Oh, he's been unlucky there, though. Are things just starting to turn around? Played a good shot there. Could have hit the 6 full and left a pot, and it would have been rack over. Now he's jumping. Sanchez at the table with a look at the 4. He's been behind a long way in this match. He's never been at this point in the match where he feels like he's back in the game. This would be the rack what would start to give him some belief in this semi-final.
Well, it was 2-0. He hasn't been within 2 at any point since then. And if there's one player you don't want coming up in your rear view mirror at the moment in top level pool, it's Sanchez Ruiz.
Three balls remain for a game that's never been in Sanchez's sight. He's been on the back foot really from the get-go. It's been all Mario he. Winner breaks. He's more than capable of running a couple together and keeping Mario glued to the chair.
From 7-2 down, he's won 4 of the last 5, and arguably now has gone favourite again. Let's see what they're playing for in terms of both prize money and world ranking points, don't forget, because every dollar there counts as a world ranking point. 17,500 guaranteed now for getting this far, and then that goes up to 30 if you get to the final. And it's double your money if you can win that final, $60,000 to the eventual world champion here in Poland this evening.
Well, comparing it to the other big sports, you know, people might be watching thinking it's not a great deal of money. But we are in the early stages of trying to create something big here, Michael, aren't we? We're trying to grow the game of 9-ball. But the man who's in the final, who's guaranteed 30, that is big money for him, isn't it, Mohamed Soufi?
Well, he's never even reached 7,000 in a full year, put it that way.
Trailing by 8
and the thing is as well, whereas previously you might only have had a couple of chances a year to earn those sort of checks, now you've got maybe 6, 7, 8 and growing, so bear all that in mind. 8-6.
Does Sanchez finally get a look at the 2? He also has not had much luck on the break. This time, that walk, El Ferrari, is also one of his nicknames. I know we call him FSR. But he starts to motor on, and that 2 goes past the 6, so things are changing in this semi.
I think you've got to make him favourite now. He's got the momentum behind him. He's only 2 behind, a chance to reduce that to 1. He has got all the baggage of trying to get to a final of this nature for the first time. OK, Sanchez Ruiz hasn't been in a world final, but US Open is more or less the equivalent.
Needs a good shot here. He's going to have to go forward with this cue ball. Off the top rail and back down. If he lands straight on the ball after this, the pink, that would make life very easy getting on the purple 5. These next 2 shots are the shots that's going to win him the rack. falling on the rail may make it a little interesting. There you see on the back of the shirt, FSR. If he's dead straight, he's got to go forward and just get the cue ball to stop. Absolutely straight on this 5. If he overruns it, he's already missed one in that side pocket. It was the red 3 after the crazy fluke as well.
Yeah, if you weren't with us for the earlier part of the match, you've got to see that fluke on the 2.
Well, I bet it's all over social media.
And no one's looking at that. They're all watching the coverage.
He's got an angle. Oh, I thought he might have been tempted to go forward then. So, yeah, he has overrun it. I wonder if he could have gone forward off 2 rails for the 5 in the bottom right. Maybe it wasn't there. Big shot coming up. He's overrun position. This is tight in the side pocket. Could play safe in behind the 9. Just bump the 5 up table. 5 would miss the 7. You could get the cue ball glued on the 9, but with Fran, take this ball on. He's got 3 seconds left. It's there. It is there. He knows that was a big shot. A massive shot. Maybe the shot that's going to help him get to the final.
And I'm just noticing the last couple of moments, that familiar bounce in his step just seems to be coming back.
Yeah, these 3 balls now, once he pots them, we're going to have to see what Mario's about. He's played well in this match, but he's going to be put under the gun now. He's in the territory where he has made a bit of a mess of these kind of matches last season.
And so from 4-8, it's back to 7-8. Sanchez Ruiz will now be breaking with a chance to draw level. Something he hasn't been since the very beginning of the match. I referred there to the US Open success that Francisco Sanchez Ruiz had in Atlantic City back in October. What a memorable week it was. That great semi-final against Carlo Biado just managed to hold him off as the defending champion charged back at him, took him into a final against Max Lechner. And what a way to seal that wonderful year. There was still the Mosconi to come, of course. He clinched his place on the team that week, became world number 1. It was the stuff of dreams in the United States for one of the most likeable men you could ever meet. Wearing the green jacket, holding the Barry Berman Trophy, named after the founder of the great event, which goes all the way back to 1976.
Trailing 8-7.
Csak nem megy golyó. Van szerencsé ilyen szempontból, mert ugye szépen visszakapaszkodott, mint ez látható, ugye itt ismét ugrottunk egy picit az időben. De akkor, amikor esetleg az egyenlítésére végig lehetett volna lökni egy asztalt, az most nem jön. Nem ideális a helyzet, de már mint a pozíció, de meg lehet oldani. És jól áll meg a 2-es előtt, bizony. Nagyon, de nem teljesen, de rajta marad.
Extension called.
Ó. Hát... És a csücsökről rendkívül rossz helyre. Megpróbálja? Megpróbálta, de nem sikerül. Hoha. De azért ez nem a legideálisabb helyzet. Sanchez Ruiznak.
Extension called. Just settle down a bit, please.
Okos. Ugyanoda visszaküldi a fehéret. És ez most már ott marad úgy Sanchez Ruiznak, hogy ezt viszont be kell gurítani. És ezzel 8 lehet a... És az is lesz. Visszajön, visszapapaszkodik. Nem könnyen, de visszapapaszkodik Sanchez Ruiz. És ezzel egalizál. Gyakorlatilag minden ugye indulhatott minden előről, vagy kezdődhetett minden előről, bár inkább folytatódhatott. Ez a helyes, hiszen ezért idáig el kellett jutni.
At 8 racks each, Francesco Sanchez Ruiz to break.
Szép, és meg is hagyja. és a 7-es.
Extension, please.
Vezet Sanchez Ruiz.
So, what can Mario He say to himself, sitting in his chair there, Carl, to convince himself that he can still win this semi-final?
Well, he's got to just keep fighting. He's got to not think bad thoughts. He's got to keep fighting. He's been in this situation all week, hasn't he? He's won a lot of hills or 11-9s. We've already discussed that.
Francesco Sanchez Ruiz to break.
He's got to remember that it's 9-8. Don't think we'll have 8-4, 8-5 up or whatever. You know, forget about the lead you've had. You're still in this match. You're only one behind.
But he's now lost 5 in a row.
No shot on the 2. Balls look messy, so we might see Mario in this rack play a visit.
What's he got here, Carl? How do you think he's seen this?
Yeah, the bank does go. I think he just squeezes past the 4, but I don't think the 3 goes.
Extension, please.
That's why he's played safe. Oh, he's left a gap. He has left the pot, but now Mario's going to be faced with this tricky table. I wonder if he could bank the 3 in the bottom right pocket. I know he's got to get on that first, but if he could, it may be a small chance.
Mario He back at the table for the first time since those 2 missed long-distance bank shots he attempted on the 9 at the end of rack 16.
I think he's going to hook himself here behind the 8. He is. Oh, this is turning out to be a bit of a nightmare now. This is what's so good about the game of 9-ball, though. Things can just change. A couple of shots, you know, it's not so much bad luck. He had that big rack, didn't he, where he nearly scratched on the 8. He had a chance in that rack. He's going airborne. What's he left? Goes in the top pocket.
It's at the point now where, with the way Sanchez Ruiz has stepped it up a bit, Mario He leaving the table, perhaps with thoughts in his mind that he might not be coming back to it before the match ends. Well, you surprised there? Well, you called that the 3 would go in the top.
No, I'm not surprised, just because it weren't easy to get on that 4. It's in a bit of an awkward spot. Purple 5. If it passes the 6, he's got to play it off the rail, so he's not got a full pocket, but it looks like it still goes. And I think if he's thinking if he gets ball in hand, maybe it's easier to get on the pink 4. Got to watch the scratch here. Good hit. Good things can happen here. It's a big 8-ball. And he's going to leave the gap.
Amazing how it happens. Those things were running his way in the early part of the match when he was playing well and building that 4-0 lead, which became 5-1 and later 7-2.
Oh, that's a good effort. You could see from the previous camera angle, he didn't have a lot of angle to work with, so he really tried to pump that over. Just landed a little short pace. Just keeps potting the balls, doesn't he?
Sounds so easy when you say it like that, but he looks a different character now. It's only about an hour or so ago we were saying this semi-final, the big occasion, was in danger of passing him by. But now he's making it his own.
He's going to need a good shot here. Them 3 balls on the right are a massive target. He's decided to use the 6. He'll play the jump shot here. He'll go close to potting this 5. These days in the modern era, jumping over that 6 is not difficult at all. So he will make contact with his 5. It's near the pocket. Sanchez will know he has a chance of potting this ball. leave a pot, or is the 7 going to save the day? He'll be delighted with the outcome of that.
He's got to keep his chin up, hasn't he? It's all turned against him so much. But how many times in his life is he going to be 3 racks away from getting to the world final? Can't let the shoulders slump.
Doing a good job here, isn't it? Everything, every shot he's playing, speed, everything's just nice. He's really taking it to Mario. Well, he's got the jump cue, but that looks like all he can do is really hit it. Doesn't really look like he's playing a particular shot here, other than just hit the 5 and hope it's your day. Again, that's not bad, Michael. He's got a good cue ball. There's no pot available. The combination is far too difficult, so he won't even attempt that. Needs another good safety. This is turning into an interesting rack, and it's a rack that will put Ruiz on the hill too clear, or tie the match up. Big rack for he, you feel, more than Ruiz.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen so many really high quality safety exchanges in this match. It's not been a match with a lot of break and runs, only a couple of those.
Good shot. They can be nervy then when you've got to roll it across the width of the slate and you've only got that one ball to land behind. Could go close to potting this in the left centre. Cue ball may go behind the 8 as a hook. Oh, where's this going to go? Where is the 5 gonna go? Is it Sanchez's tournament? That is a good fluke. He didn't play that. He can bank this in the side as well. He's absolutely landed nice on the bank shot in the side. He's not played it. He's played the good cue ball. Again, another good safety shot. Now, Mario needs all sorts to happen here. There's no balls that are really going to help him. I don't even know if he can jump over. He can, he's got the jump cue. This is the biggest jump shot Mario he will face in this match. And he didn't get over the ball. It was too close. Sanchez stayed patient in this rack. He had a couple of bad rolls against him, but he's played some good safety shots. Ball in hand to get on the hill.
And that, in all probability, is going to be that. We were saying earlier, Mario he would face a big test if he made it to the hill. How far ahead would he be? Well, as it's turned out, it's going to be Sanchez Ruiz to the hill first. And he's got there with half a dozen racks in a row. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is one away from the final. This is what great champions, world number ones do, isn't it, Carl? When you can't see a way back for them, when they're a long way behind, things aren't going their way, they're not playing well, they find a way.
Yeah, they just keep fighting. They try and make something happen. Never give up. You can see the difference. He looks done, doesn't he? He looks beat. He needs the last 3. But I always feel like if it's a 10-9 match, that's like hill really. Both players are going to be feeling pressure. So he's more than still in this match. He can still win this match, but he's just showing signs that he looks like he's a beaten man.
Do you think Sanchez Ruiz would be as capable of a turnaround like this if it wasn't for everything he'd done over the last year and the belief that's given him?
Francesco Sanchez Ruiz is breaking on the hill, leading 10-8.
Probably not, no. I mean, like you say, you just ride this crazy wave, don't you, where, you know, you're winning the tournaments, your bank balance is healthy, that always helps.
Tudja növelni az előnyt. Ezt megúszta, és ráadásul ott marad az 1-es. Sőt, aztán minden gyakorlatilag.
Extension, please.
Pici időt kér még Sanchez Ruiz. Elvileg ez nem hozhat gondot. Golyó, és Sanchez Ruiz készülhet a döntőre. Hát megfordította. Nem volt ez egy könnyű dolog, de 11-8-ra behúzza Mario He ellen az elődöntőt, a másodikat Sanchez Ruiz, és ezzel Muhammad Sufival döntőzhet majd, amit rövidesen a kedves nézők is megnézhetnek.